Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. This is Grady Hooker. We'll jump straight into this day in history. 14th of March are a couple of Raws. In 2005, Kane saved Batista from a beatdown by Triple H, Ric Flair and Snitsky, but then Triple H used his almighty power to set up a Kane versus Batista match for next week. In 2011, just after John Cena's match, The Miz came out dressed up as The Rock to distract John Cena and attack him. In 1999, we had a WCW pay-per-view called Uncensored. In the main event, Ric Flair defeated Hulk Hogan in a First Blood steel cage match for the WCW Championship. And in 2004, WrestleMania 20, just 10 years ago, we had a series of 8 cruiserweight matches. They were all pretty much shorter than 2 minutes. And Rey Mysterio came out on top of those, so he'd got the chance to take on Chavo Guerrero for his Cruiserweight Championship, and in a match that was still less than 2 minutes, Chavo picked up the win. Goldberg managed to defeat Brock Lesnar in what was billed as one of the biggest clashes of the Giants, with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the special guest ref. And for the WWE Championship, Eddie Guerrero managed to overcome Kurt Angle to retain the championship. That's all we got for this day in history. We're going to go into our classic entrance theme of the week. It's William Regal from before he was William Regal. He was Steven Regal, and he was a man. He's a man. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker, and live on Skype right now with a new microphone, we got Josh.
Yo!
So much clearer. So Raw starts off, CM Punk's music.
But CM Punk is nowhere to be seen.
I saw him, he was in the Titantron video. It was a way to make everyone hate Heyman, and it worked really well.
Yeah, Heyman was the only person that could have handled the wild CM Punk chants and turned it into what he did.
Yes.
He was the only person that could have done that. Even Daniel Bryan, as popular as he has, could not have handled that situation.
No, I heard that it was possibly meant to be a Bad News Barrett segment, but I'm glad, if it was meant to be, I'm glad they switched it to a Heyman.
Yeah. But yeah, Bad News Barrett would have been appropriate, because it would have been, I've got some bad news. CM Punk is not here.
True. They could have inserted that first, and then had Heyman come out to his music.
Yeah.
Either way. Mark Henry got squished.
Yeah, he got squished, that's for sure. And that pretty much kills any hopes that I had of the Henry Big E match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think it kills most hopes for Mark Henry being in a big-scale match, since he'll have no time for build.
Yeah, who knows? There's so many people that really don't have plans right now, that an appropriate idea would be something along the lines of either a Money in the Bank or a large-scale battle royal.
I think I had, when I typed up my random plans, something like a 12-man tag match or something.
Yeah, and I put in mind a battle royal, but for a United States or Intercontinental Championship match.
I could see both happening. I'd prefer the Battle Royal. I think the 12-man tag matches that they pull off always seem very messy and rushed, whereas a Battle Royal is always good.
Yeah, if you want to see a rushed match, just all you have to do is just go back to WrestleMania 26 and see the Core versus
the Apple,
Big Show, Kane, Kofi Kingston, and I think it was Santino.
It was Santino, but they were called the Apple because they were the good part of the Apple.
Yeah.
But yeah, multi-man matches that aren't Battle Royals are very oftenly rushed on WrestleMania cards.
Yep.
So we'll jump into the first match. The Usos are now the tag team champs.
About damn time.
How long have they been there? Like 2-3 years?
4 years.
4. And they've never won the titles.
Oh. funny thing was they competed against the Shield at Money in the Bank this past year. The very first Money in the Bank, they competed against the Hart Dynasty for the same titles. And didn't win them either time.
But they finally won them. They beat the New Age Outlaws, and we got us some new champs.
This was really the placate to fans because they knew that they would have trouble hating the show if they got something they really wanted.
Yeah. Okay, so up next, Cesaro took on Big E, and I don't think that one was what anyone wanted.
Yeah. The big swing though was nice.
Yeah.
While it lasted. I think Big E is actually too big to try to protect his own neck in that move.
Yeah.
I've seen people criticizing him for not protecting his own neck, but I don't think he's actually able to.
Fair enough. I think these swagger run-ins are a bit nonsensical.
But the Cesaro one was even more.
Yeah, that one.
Because the match lasted 8 seconds.
Yeah, basically, Swagger ran in on this match, caused a DQ finish, and then later on they had a rematch where Big E took on Swagger, and then Cesaro interfered and
hit the neutralizer.
Then the real Americans, they're gone. There is no realness with them anymore.
Yeah, they're definitely on the verge of the being on the outs.
Yeah, they got physical to the point that Zeb had to step in
and make them hug it out.
So, with all of these tag teams, we're not going to have much of a division soon.
No, we're not. But that probably would be it's a good time to start working on bringing up the Ascension.
Yeah, more points for Grady. But talking about teams, the next match was an Elimination Chamber rematch, 6-man tag, Shield Wyatts.
Another great tag team match between these two teams, and it had a shocking surprise in it.
Seth Rollins' dissension?
Yeah, Seth Rollins walking out on Ambrose and Reigns. If anybody would have bet that somebody was going to walk out on the Shield, they would have betted on Ambrose. Or possibly Reigns, but more likely Ambrose.
Yeah, it seems... What did he say? I think we had, over on SmackDown, the Shield Summit to sort of sort out their issues. But I don't know if they sorted out issues.
I think they just aired some dirty laundry and that was it.
Oh, they hit each other as well.
Yeah. That's coming to a head soon.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly a triple threat match for the United States Championship.
I don't know what. I just know that they're going to explode.
Yeah, sooner or later.
So Batista had an interview up next where he casually drops comic books, superheroes, movies, and everything into it.
Basically, it was kind of like a plug for his movie.
While dissing Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what the whole thing is weird is that that Batista actually, when he had his final run before, he went out of his way to ask to work with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So, which by the way, they never had a match before was a complete and utter fabrication because they'd had a beat the clock challenge in May of 2010.
Shh, you're not meant to remember that far. That's 4 years, man. You're meant to have short memory.
And Daniel Bryan was still on NXT.
Yeah.
So that's how highly Batista thought of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. And now he gets to face him in a main event feud. Up next, mixed tag match. Emma and Santino took on Fandango and Summer Rae, and I saw bubbles.
Woo! We're starting to get part of what made Emma over in NXT on the main roster.
Horrible dance, horrible music, bubbles.
Yet somehow she's the most popular diva in NXT, possibly most popular person in NXT.
I don't know how it happened, but it works.
She's just a bubbly personality.
Oh, that was a pun.
Yes, pun intended and pun non-intended as well.
Okay. But again, Emma made Summer Rae tap out to the Emma lock.
That is one awesome submission.
It is. It's different, which is probably the best part about it. There's only, like, X amount of ways that you can tie up a person's limbs.
Yeah, Corey Graves has an interesting take on the figure four leg lock.
Okay.
Instead, he actually locks it in where it's actually locked in backwards.
Okay. I'll have to go on YouTube and find some tapes of that.
Yeah, where he's on his where he's actually on his chest while he's got him locked in. He calls it the Lucky 13.
Okay.
It's a figure four like move.
Okay. I'll go have a look at it. Up next, Sheamus took on Christian.
Again.
And then
and this is not over.
No, over on SmackDown, Christian took on Ziggler, and we got more brawling.
Yeah. Well, it was obvious it wasn't over after when Sheamus went to do his interview and got attacked by Christian.
True. And
you know what this is reminding me of?
What?
The whiny Christian that we saw in like WrestleMania 17 and 18 that would throw a temper tantrum anytime he lost.
True.
Who had actually a pretty awesome theme back then.
Okay.
But that's just what it is. It's just like Christian has reverted back to 10 years ago.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
For him it is.
True. Also on SmackDown, we'll talk a little bit about it. Sheamus took on Alberto Del Rio. So... it seems to be setting up Christian Sheamus as well as Alberto Ziggler.
Who knows at this point? And maybe we will get that Battle Royal match we threw out earlier.
True.
And this all comes to a head in that match.
Or maybe we get a tag team match, player. I see it.
Remind me. Where the heck has Teddy Long been?
No idea, but we can still impersonate him all day long.
Yeah. He's disappeared. He's vanished off the face of the planet.
Well, talking about someone else who's vanished off the face of the planet, we're going to play you our current entrance theme of the week. It's Tyson Kidd. Where did he go as well? Who knows? And back with the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker and Josh. Next up, Divas Tag Match, the Bella Twins versus Foxana.
The Bellas have gotten better.
And
basically, all I can really say is Bellas have worked their kinds in off and now have become decent wrestlers.
They're getting some momentum behind them as well.
And you know what? That rack finisher of Nikki's is pretty nice.
I think she calls it the Rack Attack.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I think I saw hashtag Rack Attack on Twitter.
Yeah, it's a torture rack, but she just drops to her knees to
slam it.
The slammer. It's almost like a version of her boyfriend's finisher.
Yeah. Fair enough. If we're talking about divas, I'm just going to jump over to SmackDown. I'm all jumpy everywhere today. Natalya and Eva Marie defeated the Divas champ and Tamina.
Well...
What's up?
Yeah, at least I guess Eva Marie is trying to improve. She said her number one goal was to get as good as in the ring as she possibly could this year.
Okay, it's a good goal.
So at least she's trying, I guess. I don't really. I'm not a big fan of this, but we might get a Divas Championship match for Natalya, so it might be worth it.
You'll enjoy Eva Marie if Natalya gets a shot.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll jump back. On Raw, Daniel Bryan, he's annoyed at the Authority.
Yeah, and he's starting to really get under Triple H's skin, which is giving us closer and closer to that match we want.
No, it's not what we want, it's what we know we'll get. Triple H.
We might get the match we want out of that match.
I see what you're doing. Like double entendre. Yeah, I know that word. I got a word of the day calendar. But yeah, we talked about it a little bit on SmackDown. Alberto Del Rio took on Ziggler next. We got some Need for Speed guy who I don't know.
Yeah, he's an actor, Aaron Paul, who's going to be the star of the movie Need for Speed.
I thought that was a video game, but hey.
Yeah, it's a video game that they turned into a movie. Similar to, it's Fast and Furious.
I figured. Okay. There's not much left on the show. We got John Cena coming out. He taunts Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, we're going to get that match. That's for sure. But this has been a really fun changing between Bray and Cena.
Is it as fun as the Cena Rock back and forths that they had a couple of years back?
Much better.
Okay.
I hated the Cena Rock interactions.
You didn't like no Fruity Pebbles?
No.
Okay.
I never wanted to see that match the first time, let alone the second.
Okay. We get a little glimpse of Alexander Rusev in person.
Yeah, we're starting to see him cut promos. Apparently, what Lana does when she comes out is she says the Bulgarian word for hello, which I think is Zadavari.
Okay.
I said it sounds like she's trying to imitate a Japanese cat.
Okay. Yeah. I can see both sides of that.
Nan. But, so we're getting closer to his debut.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll talk about the main event. We got Batista taking on Daniel Bryan.
And Batista cannot work a 10-minute match without getting blown up. Even with Daniel Bryan in the ring.
Okay.
I don't know what he's been doing the last couple of years, but obviously he's not been working on his cardio.
Hopefully he does it in the next 3 weeks till WrestleMania.
It'll be 3 weeks Sunday.
Okay, there we go. But the end of it, Orton came in, disqualification finish. Bryan nails Orton with the running knees, drop kicks Batista, drop kicks Kane. Batista knocks him in the head. Triple H yells at Bryan. Bryan kicks him. Batista bombs Bryan, and then Triple H pedigrees Bryan.
And we see that we're getting even more closer to that match.
Yep. I'm out of breath. That was too long.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to set it up, but I'd almost expect maybe an accidental knee to Stephanie.
Some form of getting... It's got to get personal.
Yeah, it's got to either get personal or Daniel Bryan's got to find a way to take away something that's really important to Triple H, whether it be the show or something.
Okay. We'll jump over to SmackDown. It's got bits we haven't covered yet. We got the Usos easily defeating Rybacksel.
Yeah, and they successfully defended their newly won titles against Los Matadores on main event.
Because the New Age Outlaws are hurt, are they?
They're not cleared to wrestle yet. Quotation mark.
It's all of those like old creaky joints.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait on that rematch.
Okay.
Which we'll probably get at WrestleMania.
Maybe. We got the main event. We'll just jump to that. It's the only thing really left of purpose. Big Show and Bryan versus Kane and Batista.
Nice little tag team match. Has Batista won a match other than the Royal Rumble since his return?
I don't... yeah, he defeated Alberto Del Rio, right after.
He beat him on the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. There you go.
The Raw afterwards was when he got distracted and got beat by Alberto Del Rio.
I think a better question is, has Batista won a match on Raw or SmackDown since his return?
The answer to that would be no.
Okay.
I'd almost bet on that one.
I can't be bothered looking up the figures. We'll just say it's true, like most journalists.
But yeah, this is starting to get me worried because Batista is losing for somebody who was expected to be a major player at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but if you look
So that makes me think that he's going to walk out with the championship.
Okay. But if you look at who he's losing to, the man with the most momentum ever in the world.
He's been losing to Daniel Bryan. Although in this case, he can say, well, he was never pinned by Daniel Bryan on Raw because he was disqualified, thanks to Randy Orton. Then he could say he never lost to Daniel Bryan here because it was Kane that took the fall.
True. But I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more Bryan Batista, Bryan Orton, Orton Batista leading up to WrestleMania, when those are pretty much your three big players that aren't sort of in the Cena Wyatt match or the other matches we've got laying around.
Yeah, it's possible. It's also possible that Daniel Bryan will have a lot to do with the actual authority, like Kane and stuff like that.
True.
And Shield or whatever's left of the Shield.
But somehow Big Show's weaseled his way into the main event.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. If they do the Battle Royal, he would be my pick to win.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. Any last points? We've got about 30 seconds left on the spot.
The card's starting to fill out, and it's starting to look like an interesting card. So I'm hoping that we get a good WrestleMania.
I know a lot of people before were saying, oh, this is going to be the worst WrestleMania. I hope they're proven wrong.
They have a hard time being worse than WrestleMania 11.
Okay. Well, it's been great talking to you.
It's been great being on again.
And in birthdays this week, we don't have that many. WWE Hall of Famer class of 2005, Mae Young, sadly passed away this year, but it would have been her birthday this week. One half of the Steiner brothers, Rick Steiner, turns 53. Survivor and TNA competitor Johnny Fairplay turns 40. The Hellcat Melina Perez turns 35. And the Milan Miracle Santino Marella turns 35. I'll jump into a New Zealand recap here. The New Zealand Pro Wrestling Illustrated website had their People's Choice Awards, and they've finally released who won all those, so I'll run down the New Zealand categories. For Best Wrestler, it's Travis Banks. Best Team, the Agents of Change, Jacob Cross and Aaron Henry. Best Stable, The Investment. Best Female goes to Evie, who's currently over in Japan. Best Match goes to Kingy versus Liam Fury versus Travis Banks for the IPW Championship at Decade of Impact. The Best Event goes to IPW Decade of Impact. The Best Promotion goes to Impact Pro Wrestling, IPW. Best Debutant goes to Mason Daniels. Breakout Star, TK Cooper, we had him on the show, same as Travis Banks. See, we interview you, get awards. Best Moment goes to Travis Banks to defeating Kingy and Liam Fury for the IPW Championship at IPW A Decade of Impact. So that seems like a clean sweep here for IPW at the People's Choice Awards. They also did the international categories, so the New Zealanders voted for who they thought would be the exact same categories, but internationally. If you visit nzpwi.co.nz, you can view the full results from there, and who came second, third, and lower places in these ones as well. So that's all we have time for this week. You've been listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady, Hooker and Josh. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio. You can visit our website, wrestlingroundup.host22.com, wrestlingroundup.host22.com. We've got all sorts of articles up on that website. We've got past episodes. You can get pretty much anything Wrestling Roundup related on that website. So I'll see you next week.